Now, it is Dementia Awareness Month. It's affecting more than 400,000 Australians and is expected to rise. What can we do about it?
Yeah, to answer that question, joining us today from the Brain and Mind Research Institute at the University of Sydney, Professor Michael Valenzuela. Hello to you.
Hi there.
This is an amazing stat. Why is dementia taking so many of us out?
Really, the fundamental reason is that as a society, we're getting older and age is the #1 risk factor for dementia. So that's really driving those numbers now and what we're projecting into the future.
Is there any major things we can do to prevent the onset of dementia?
Look, there's no guarantees, but really when we talk about prevention in the dementia space, we're talking about reducing your risk or trying to prevent some people in the general population. So from that point of view, we're learning more and more that a large part of that risk is lifestyle related. So a lot of things we already know about, like a healthy heart.
Yes.
Healthy heart means a healthy brain. And at the same time, we're learning that we have to treat the brain like a muscle. So we have to keep exercising it and challenging it your whole life.
And we seem to think of it as a seniors. Yes,
well, you know what, when you bring that up, I always say it has to be more than that. It's more like learning a new language. That's the kind of level of challenge we need.
Not just a puzzle.
Yep.
Okay.
And are we thinking of it as a problem for seniors or something we should think about in our younger years as well?
It's a lifelong thing. You know, if you want to try and minimise your risk down the track, you've got to start really early. So you've got to start looking after your heart health, not smoking, bit of exercise in your daily routine. All of those things we know are good for your physical health are going to help prevent dementia down the track.
Now, you were saying there is a rise in dementia being caused by age. Are there any other external factors that we know of?
You know, it becomes very complicated when you start looking at the statistics and the science. The big factor there is that we're getting older as a society. There's lots of other forces that are driving things. So, for example, we know there's an obesity epidemic in the younger part of the population. What is the impact of that down the track going to be? It's probably negative. On the other side, we're living longer and we've generally got better heart health and control of, for example, hypertension or high blood pressure. So it is difficult to project, but I think the dominant factor there is the ageing population.
Busy mind. I mean, my lovely grandmother lived to nearly 101 and she would travel the world. Every time she'd stop walking at a traffic light, she'd pull out a postcard, write a letter. Just busy mind all the time up until nearly the day she died.
That's wonderful. And I think that's what we're trying to encourage and trying to really emphasise that connection, but thinking of your brain like a muscle. If you don't do any physical exercise, then your muscles waste away. If you're not challenging your brain, it's not going to be operating at its peak performance.
So also keeping socially active, like as in, you know, going and playing bingo and getting out there and doing activities?
It's very important. The last thing you want to do is just isolate yourself in the home, particularly after retiring, because you're losing all of that stimulation. So social activity is really important.
What are some key factors then for prevention of dementia?
I talk about it in my book as the 3 keys. There's mental activity, physical activity and social activity. So if you can think about, you know, a type of pastime or leisure activity that combine all of those three things, that's going to be perfect.
An example of that?
My personal favourite is dancing because
Is
dancing,
it now,
yes it is,
Professor?
Dancing involves, you know, you've got to memorise some routines, it's very social and obviously it's physical.
Any particular dance, Professor Valenzuela?
Well, my personal favourite's the tango.
Of course it is. Fantastic. Thank you so much
It's been a pleasure.
helping us. We better start getting social, getting out to bingo together.
Look, if it's a tango we need, it's a tango you should have.
And you know what? There is no time better than right now. Where is my music?
Do you have a man?
Where is my man?
Oh my goodness, we have a man. Look out, it's on.
Look how tango he is.
So tango.
I'm not an expert.
We are going to the break with a little tango here at the Casa de Wellness.
Arriba! Is
Good
that wrong?
moves.